How are you doing today? Tonight, this evening, this morning? Are you getting ready to go out in your world for the day? Or are you getting a moment later on to sit down and relax? Well, I'm glad that you're spending it with me and I appreciate it. Thank you for coming along on another quest for details. We are at a massive gravel bed and it has everything that you could want to find. I come here hunting wonderstones a lot. I told myself we're not going to do that this time. We're going to actually look for other agate creatures and jaspers. We brought a big old bucket. We brought a spray bottle. We're going full tilt. First we need to go over here into the berry area and maybe pluck some berries and definitely get some water. We are in the California coastal range. It's only 89 degrees and not 99, so we're lucky. But I am dripping some gross sweat off of me. And really slow look here at the gravel. Reveals even in dry, you can see that there's every spectrum of color here. This is actually a large gravel bed that sees many tributaries come into it. So it's had plenty of time to gather everything. And my gosh, we're not just going to spend the whole time gathering volcanic tuff here, even though there's endless supplies. We have other spots to do that. Today we're going to hunt some of the jaspers, agates, and other Chalcedony family members that are lurking in these gravels. Possibly some cherts. We're going to dip into this beautiful stream here for our bottle. Oh man, you see the fish? Just loaded with baby fish. Red dragonflies and berries along the whole thing. Which is one of the reasons why out of all these dry hills here, the bears like to come down and lay in these bushes. They're just little black bears. This is one of those rare spots where they are. Okay, I'm gonna fill up the spray bottle out of this and then we'll be on our way. And then by that are blackberries. Wow. When you haven't had sour for a while and then you do, it hurts. Woo. Okay. Okay. Oh, are you gonna work for us? Yes. We have spray. Ooh. It's been a while. I think it's in rough shape kind of, but all you have to do is spray. Yeah. Yeah, portable spit machine. So many to pick from. Here's a little green. What are you? Maybe a jasper and not a chert. Thin line, I know, but in the forming process, they're different. Several ways to create that cap, but they end up pretty and green. That looks a lot like some sort of jasper mix. It's reminding me of the green Chalcedony family. And not a sedimentary chert. Although maybe. Comes in so many forms. Okay, I know I said I wasn't going to collect a bunch more volcanic tuff today, but look, this one has like the eye of Jupiter or like a Van Gogh sky going on. It swirls all up and through there with a difference between the ground layer, as I'd call it in a landscape, and the sky layer. It's so hot everything's just evaporating. Man, if we could slice just one flat face off that actually had that pattern still, that would be worth it. First rock in the bucket's big. Uh-oh. The reds in this, they are hot to the touch to try and pick up. And they're drying out as quick as I spray them. It's a bright red next to the burgundy red in this. A Jasper. But the color in it is fantastic. Ah, look. You can see that's different than quartz. And it's purely quartzite, being a Chalcedony cousin here. Spray it off. It's a little milky. It's like a good term as a crevice agate. You see there's actually a little layer of what was druzy that grew together. No, not open anywhere anymore, but you can see the crystal tips that would have grown from the bottom and from the top, knitted together in some little cavity, and these would have been the layers of chalcedony on the outside of that in a crevice of rock, maybe even these sandstony bluffs above us, and the water would have run down and found a little crevice, a layer in between the layers, and formed a little cave of crystals there. And now that it's fallen out of that and that's all eroded away, you can see the little pock marks and surface there of it, which is a telltale sign of a crevice agate, because it was molded into the crevice and the other stone is gone. That's literally the print of the softer stone, leaving just this tumbling down the creek. So a little chalcedony nodule. Yay! We are all the way to clear blue with the yellow hint in their glint here in the Chalcedony family, and then all the agates, which are just banded versions of Chalcedony, and then all the Jaspers, which are all of the colors of that are not see-through. Layers of it's a different type of tuff, so it's like basically a banded rhyolite. A harder volcanic rock. I'm thinking still laid down in layers. I'm thinking maybe still in an ash thing, but it hardens up. Don't believe it's flow, but look at the fine banding in this. Hopefully you can see that in the camera. Just the ultra fines. I can't tell on some of these shots until I get home, because I'm looking through a viewfinder too to see if it caught what my naked eye was. But those go all the way through. They're consistent all the way through that rock, fine as a hair, and it's hard enough. It's harder than even the landscape tuff that we're cutting, and so you could definitely cut that into different cabs and stuff, and it's, you know, the patterning in that is pretty awesome, even if it's not a translucent agate. It's also pretty big. Bam! And it's sitting by this beautiful little piece of antique glass. I would even venture to say that that was a piece of carnival glass. I'm not sure exactly. I'm not a glass expert. We do have some in the Quest team in the audience, but I did know people that collected carnival glass, and it has certain shades. That's pretty. I'll put it with the rocks as it's been and see if it survives. Yep, just gotta slow down. I think we were stumbling around the hot heat. I also see shade under a big old oak. Look at the crystal development in this granitized piece of something here. You get all the different metamorphics and changes. I'm not sure if those, probably not a tourmaline, probably one of the creatures that grows in regular granites. You can see. Not coming to mind at the moment. Please, anybody who ever knows anything, feel free to put it down in the comments. Remember that there's going to be other people watching this, and I would rather be corrected than pass on knowledge that was incorrect, or that could be furthered by somebody else's comments. So it's always appreciated. You're helping out more than me, because people come along and watch it and then learn from you. So feel free to use the platform below to teach people. There's a detail. Don't stand right here because it's covered in white stuff, which is all bird poop, I think. There's no tree anywhere overhead. So they're either pooping here every time they fly by, or there's a bird around here who can do horrendous things. Sorry to be gross, but like, wow, we're out here in the middle of this whole thing, and this is like the strafing range. Creepy. Sticky creepy. Wow. 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 Sorry. Too much sun. Look at that thing. What is that? Some sort of brecciated, broken up, refilled, metamorphosized, niced out creature. Look at that. What a pattern to that. It's definitely just probably quartz and maybe a blue slate or something that got just absolutely heated and crushed and smeared with it. Can't tell. It's non-translucent with the translucent, but look at the patterning on that. What pressure and heat did. It just blob. See what the backside looks like. Yeah. And then other tears and fills. But whatever happened to that, I'm not sure if it was something that set up like that, or if it was something that ripped apart and filled like that. Try and slow down. Look at the look at how kneaded together this dough is. It's not just a checker pattern, it's where the other rocks are grinding down through it, and it's like a crazy candle or something with bits coming out and bits still submerged, and pretty cool. Pretty cool. Little bits of chert. Little bits of chert. There's large bits of chert, but there's little bits of chert as well. And we'll stop before. What is this piece over there, Jasper? We have some crazy little couple pops. This is more glossy creature. Got some agate linings to its clouds. Fine. And then on this side, I was seeing some pattern that you could probably work out of that. Right in there. Little, like what, 3 little pops? There might be more. That side looks a little globular, nodular, globnodular. It looks globnodular. It hints that that could have a bunch of little round red circles all packed together, looking like eggs, fossilized. Or little galaxies crushed together, not yet expanded. We have to get over into the shade. Wow, look what's in shade. The last great pool. Oh, that must be nice for you. Works out. Yeah. This is 15 degrees of difference. It's one thing about, well, there's about a million things about going through the state, and man, we already had less shade, and now we have less shade. So that's all I'm gonna say about that, because they say if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So isn't this tree nice? Trees, aren't they nice? Trees good. Shade good. You okay, little buddy? These little guys, bumblebees, they have drinking problems. They'll head out, hit up a hollyhock, just get absolutely thrashed and then pass out somewhere. Oh, I think he might be. Who knows? I'm telling you, they're hardcore. We'll leave them there. I've seen them just pass completely out, like they fell drunk at the bar because they get intoxicated from the flowers sometimes. And they'll crash out overnight. I'll find them in the morning with dew on them, waking up. It's like they never went home. So, things you didn't know about bumblebees. It's buried in the roots of this tree. By the pool where it holds its water. I also see it's got like an iron tank in its roots. That's a jaw. It's a jaw of something big. Looking like a pig. Yeah. Well, we'll leave it there. Yeah, it's a pig jaw. That's yours. That's yours. For sure. Good score. Oh, look at this crevice agate right here. Big, old, milky layer of Chalcedony. Yeah, we are going to take that. We sit down. It looks plain because it's milky, not see-through. But as you cut these, they have really awesome white and semi-translucent pink layers through them. Because it is just a big milky crevice agate. Same thing, filled in a crevice with silicate drippings, and then the rest of the rocks eroded away, so we just have the layer that was trapped between. Ooh, it's got a bunch of agate where I can... This is what will be all over inside of it, is what I'm trying to say. And some of it daylights. So, look at that. See that? That's how tight the lacings on that are. It's got fortifications that meet fortifications when you cut it. So it'll be like a pattern like that up against another fractal, against another fractal. There's the edge of it, so anywhere where you can see where the inner cavity was, you can see how tight the lacings are around there. The water lines. Yeah, and this side isn't showing it. It's almost like they get finished off on the outside, but you slice that and slice that, and then all of a sudden you can see a whole bunch of that going on. So, into the bucket with you. Battery light is flashing. We need to find more rocks and do less talk. That is on the way. Stay tuned after these messages. Okay, welcome back. You're on the quest for details, and we are rockhounding the old gravel bed. Some volcanic tuff. I think maybe we'll grab this piece because it's a bunch of beautiful colors, and look at the crazy cave system canyon land that is trapped inside that one, waiting for us to explore down inside of it with our saw. Yes, yes, yes. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to do more cutting of these landscape stones. I have gathered up quite a few now. And I'm not sure if I'm boring you with just cutting those all the time. So let me know what you want to see and when you want to see it. That would be the most awesome thing for anybody, is for their demand to tell them exactly what they want. So don't be afraid. Put it in the comments below. Okay. And there is bowenite. Form a serpentine called New Jade that is as clear as a beautiful jade in this creek bed. Yet another spot in California. If we slice that thin, you could look right through it. It's not quite thin enough to be translucent here, but that's exciting. Almost shaking. Very pure stuff. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. That's a good sign. We just prospected it in another spot. Ooh, big fracture through it, but little landscape. Another serpentine creature. More of a yardstone. Wouldn't take a real good polish and pretty fractury, but beautiful nonetheless. Piece of that bowenite serpentine creature. Broken thin enough. This one looks to be a little cloudy. Each one's different. Each one has a different grade, but you see the translucence level. It's not transparent, but it has translucence. Yet another version of serpentine creatures right here. This one has a pretty nifty little pattern and it's weaving to it. Oh no. I took one of those walks away from the bucket and of course found way too many things. It's good, but these are huge, but they're pieces of that stuff with the lattice work in it. It's agate. It's a white agate. Look at this Chalcedony notch here. It's got iron staining in it, but unmistakable druzy pockets and blue Chalcedony glow. Again, it's a druzy pocket in here like a wedge going up from this way and down from that way, and that faint line is where the crystal tips came together. And the outside is where it was still touching probably a red irony earth, and that was the crevice it was in. And you could cut that, and in each of those little flow patterns there is probably water line, at least milk and clear crystal zones like that, probably woven together. So we'll definitely bring that. These are creatures that are similar, and you can see they have more of a botryoidal druzy, if that's the correct way of saying that, a real rounded mammal, a real round patterning on that side. But where I've even accidentally cut through those before, each one of those little round pieces has water lines. You see that? So this whole creature is like that, and then in between is this crazy triangular lattice work agate. When you cut into it, it's got starbursts and triangles, and that's what composes the whole thing. Let's see if we can get some real close-up views here. So it's got some real fantastic patternings to the whole thing down in there. Caramels and just all symmetrical looking triangles, and then this, believe it or not, it's just a massive piece of the same thing. And when you cut into these bigger ones, there's usually even bigger and more awesome patterns. But this is a big old white agate. Look here at all of its reveals. Let's just slow down. Sometimes it's hard for me to show you these big ones because littler pieces tend to have more windows exposed from being broken, and either are or they aren't obvious. Sometimes bigger pieces are less obvious as to what's inside until we cut them. But you see that, right? The whole thing is composed of crazy little agate patterns. There isn't anything there that isn't actually banding. And so it'll go like that way for a ways and that way for a ways and end abruptly and swirled in. And this whole thing, you know, that was that side that we're looking at, and then here's another face of what's going on in here. Oh, it's hard to show, so many little lines. Kerchunk. I think we have to bring those pieces. I think we have to. Bucket. What have you done? Got these guys to get over to my bucket. You who's in the bottom of it, you know. Say, sorry, I stumbled in here. I'm a gardener, so they're just all over in my garden, staggering around. I mean, needs to start a program for those guys. Okay, look at this one. Another crazy cave system creature. It's got plant-looking growth all through it. Lots of layering. Look at the outside of this big one. I didn't even see that till it dried out. The whole thing is a fine, sparkly druzy. I don't know if you can see that. Creature. Agates. Today for big agates. Let's see, let's start with a little granitized creature. They're so cool. It's coming in bands. It's not quite granite, I'm just saying granitized because it's the type of gneiss that hide that from me so you can't see what's going on there. It's all swirled together. There's a little black crystalline growth all through it. It's pretty cool. And then, what else do we get? We got another cool landscape stone because it could be sliced right in half, be a double of itself, and it has a nice transition between land and sky. So, awesome thing to draw on for sure. And this, which I think is a little pale chert, but could be a little crushed pale jade nephrite creature too. I know it looks like ribbon chert, that's what I'm thinking, but it's got a weight and a hardness to it. It's a little different. The break is different on it. It's not conchoidal. And it's just a most pale green creature. So I would expect maybe some of the actinolite out here to actually get crushed in little wafers like that because we're in heavy sediment with the serpentinite inclusions all through it. Protrusions, bubble ups and well ups. And then this is what one more landscape stone. Look at the intricate hills in this one. I think you can appreciate that. So, I like the faded misty ones in the background there and then the clear ones in the front. And again, land and sky. And I found this big old Chalcedony nodule agate creature. Go ahead and wet it down. So there's the prints from where it was pressed into the top of the crevice into the other stone around it. It's a telltale sign of a gob of Chalcedony because it's more of a flow in there creature. And then, oh, maybe I shouldn't have got that wet. This druzy pocket still has big old quartz crystals growing together in it. and it's like hollow, so it was almost geode-ish. It was at one point, but then grew completely together. So there's like the top layer and the bottom layer, or who knows if it went like that, but they grew together inside the crevice until all of the crystal tips touched each other. But that is just basically a big old geode of quartz crystals, bottom and top layers. There's the front of the crevice, the back of the crevice, so it was wider to skinnier. What do you think about that? That is beautiful. That was a good find for the day. It's just a nice specimen all the way around. And then a littler one, same deal. There's its druzy all beaten down on the outside there. But pretty translucent, little crevicey gob of Chalcedony, bigger than Dry Creek, which is the cousin of this one, running down the same watershed areas. And then this, which is a crevice agate still trapped in the host rock. There's the host rock. So it looks like a very compacted volcanic tuff-like flow. The crystals all through it, the particles, and then you get to the edge of the crevice agate running through there. That's one of those triangular ones that's all laced together. But look down inside. Look, journey to the center of the agate. It's full of crystals. See that? They're not even super. Oh man. See if I can get a shaft of light to go down in there. See that? Those are all crystals. So that's what it looks like before it grows together and looks like the laced together ones that I showed you, where they were just touching. So that's actually all the little crystals down in there. It's actually a better cavity than just building up. There's that one. It's pretty. It's got little crystals all there. And then what you're seeing in between is a lacing of both Chalcedony flow and crystal all through it. You see it sparkling there. And then you flip that sparkly creature over and look at these cavities. They're just filled with little crystal spars that have already knit together. See that? Look. There's another cave with individuals in there. That is pretty. So somewhere out here is a hillside of that type of rock, and in it are crevices everywhere, and those crevices are full of crystals. Is what this creek bed has told us, and they're actual spear crystals. That's really nice seeing it in this, because that's how you prospect. Now you need to find those white bluffs here and look in the cracks and dig away at it with permission. Let's go and get some mana. I live in a world. I'm so lucky here. This wall of berries and grapes. Berries. Scary berries. We appreciate you. You know the rules for berry areas, don't you? Make enough noise to let the bears know you're there. Be respectful of the other things that guard spots like this. All the little things and little people. And that means try and be polite. Don't be greedy. Don't be crude. And be thankful. Thank you, berries. And that's one of the best ways to survive a berry area. And to get gather the mana that was left for you. Look at that. Sweet. We're good to go. We're gonna run around like a hyper kid for 20 minutes. She left water bottle over here by a big old gob of nice jasper. You can just tell by the shape of it that it's good to go because it's been beaten into a round nodule, and it's got some just like some dark pops going on through the whole thing, and yet it's a golden nugget. Golden nugget. Yes, it's all yellow on this side. These black darker pops go all through the whole thing. It's broken but filled in the nicest ways. Real solid, real nice colors with that black patterning through it too. It's something special. Looks like rainbow trout patterns or something laid over what's already pretty intricate, beautiful stuff, I'm sure, in the shade. The more finite patterns of the stone would show up better. Bright light is often hard to film in. It starts to wash things out as opposed to the right type of shade to bring the color out. All kinds of low yellow fractals and pinks in there forming that overall yellow that you see with little black dots going on. That is going to come home. That is pretty cool. Okay, let's carry that to bucket. Blue! Compound structure of crevice Chalcedony. There's the inside of it. That's what it is. This stuff comes out of some really soft stone. You see it all laced in there. All that still has to erode out of it. That's how fine the little crevices were that it filled in. So that's basically what these look like before they come all the way out. That piece of green. It's another piece of that, well, just to form a serpentinite, but this mix is looking real good. See that? That's a beautiful, all the way through, true what it is, what it looks like. Not just a layer. Oh, green. Yes, we're getting our eye for this. This, I believe, is another piece of what we classify as a bowenite, serpentinite, a new jade. It's going to be the uglier of them. It's dark, it's almost gray at first. You need to look at its little fracture lines where it's been chipped, and where it overlays itself. And you'll see little hints at the translucence that it is. Now, each one of these rocks comes from a bigger boulder and a bigger piece, and they're all different grades, but it's not one of the serpentines that looks like a jade right away. Those are usually just a waxy, flaky, layery thing. This is the creature that looks like that, and that's how it hides. But yeah, it's here. It's definitely here. Here's the up close on the dry grain of it. Real tiny crystalline stuff. I'd say that it's piled a few pieces right here actually. And what I'm seeing, this looks like one that has some lighter inclusions in it. And you can get faked out because you can bring these pieces home and knock them open and they're just absolutely gray granule stuff, but on little teeny tiny breaks of it, I do see translucence. And when it's dry, it has that same crystalline look. This was another, oh, that's the piece that we brought with us. These two are laying together. This one, oh yeah, see? And it's little fractures there. See them? That's your hint of how apple green clear this actually is. It looks like it's piled some together here like this in this area. It'll do that because of weight. It'll sluice stuff together. All of these are worth slicing up and then holding up to the light, because when the light comes through that apple green, ooh yeah. This is a piece of this really cool jasper that we get out here. It's yellow, and its purple areas have metallic sparkle to them. And you focus, see that in there? So it's like a metallic sparkle set into all of the purple areas of this jasper. I haven't made that into a creation yet, but you can imagine on a cab how that could look. It's like a metallic sheen to it all. Assuming that that's not like mercury welling out of it or something. But beautiful stuff goes all through it. We'll take that one. There's a red jasper laying here. You can see it from, ooh, a little green. I believe you're a piece of glass? I think so. We'll go ahead and bring that home in case and look at that again. But, ooh, that's big red. Ooh, it's got yellow pop going on. See that? There you go. That was worth grabbing. What's going on here too? Bright, beautiful protection red with yellow poppy coming through. Boom. I think we'll have to take that. Okay, we're loading out for sure. Let's get this bucket on the road. I am feeling kind of swoony and head rushy, and we have been out here for a while. So, I'm going to start heading back to the bucket and collecting my little piles along the way. I'm going to show you what else we find. But yeah, warning, warning, the video is nearing its end. Big glossy gob of what I guess it's a Jasper family. It's kind of orange, probably a silicate. See from all the different breaks and shines, it goes from deep reds into kind of browns and other stuff. It has some conchoidal fractures on there, here and there, and some patterning. Where did it go? Of agate and druzy and patch there. Definitely pretty, just pretty earthen tones also, so we're not going to bring that with us in the buckets. Okay, that, my friends, is a pretty cool bucket. A pretty wiggly, broken up little thing there. I'm gonna haul this out of here if we can. And yeah, I gotta use my breath for not passing out in this heat. So, thank you for joining me again, and I'll see you next time. I'll figure out what is moving through the bushes up here.